Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Beth and this is my Flosstube number 20, which is really cool. I can't believe I'm up to 20 and that's not including all the little special additions that I've done, so neat. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for being here. I talk mostly about cross stitch, but a few other things, including pins, which you can see behind me. That's only a fraction of my collection, so I really enjoy those, and I'll be sharing some with you later today. But first, I have to just show you a non-cross stitch thing because I'm obsessed. Michelle likes to do her, Michelle Bendy Stitchy likes to do her best new thing, right? So this little ring is my new favorite thing. I went on a quest a couple of weeks ago looking for quiet fidget toys because I have ADHD, and you might be able to tell that by how fast I'm talking. I have trouble focusing a lot. My boyfriend also has some undiagnosed ADHD, likes to fidget a lot. And sometimes I get distracted by his fidgeting, especially if he's fidgeting with something loud. So I went on the hunt for some quiet fidget toys that would be good for both of us. And so I got a few, like I got like a loop thing to play with, and I got like a squishy ball. All of those are fun, right? But this is like the thing I was least excited about when I got it. I wasn't sure if I would like it or what it would do, but it's my favorite and it's my boyfriend's favorite. It came in a pack of 3. It was like $3. If you're curious, put a comment where I got them and I'll send you a link. But you wear it as like a ring on whatever finger you want to, and it like has like an acupressure element to it. It's really hard to describe. It doesn't hurt, but at least for me, it gives me a little of that like chill feeling. But it provides some like tactile interaction with your brain, and it also like gives your fingers something to do. And I've dropped it and that didn't make a big sound, which is a huge plus. And like you can stretch it, and super cool, really love it, and it was super cheap. So hugely into that. I also got a worry stone, which I'm really enjoying. I think this is like a tiger's eye gemstone worry stone, and I got this from Katie May Naturals on Etsy. Highly recommend her if you're into like crystals and stuff. Anyway, just thought I would share some of that ADHD fun, and if you also have ADHD and your brain is a scary place, comment down below and say hi. All right, now we're gonna jump into the stitching. First thing I'm gonna talk to you about is March Madness. I think I got some new followers on Instagram because of March Madness, which is very exciting. So if you found me here as well, hi, welcome, happy to have you. And I just have to say a huge thank you to everyone who voted in my March Madness polls. It was really fun to see some stitchy people and also like my other non-stitchy friends interacting with my polls, and I had my dad like asking me, how do I vote? I can't tell if I voted. So my dad was voting. So thank you for that. That was a ton of fun. I have to say I'm really surprised by some of the results. So let's jump right into that. So I'm gonna put my bracket on the screen here. This is my completed bracket. We're fully done with March Madness. I've completed everything. So I'm gonna put my completed bracket on the screen, and then we're gonna walk through starting with the projects that fell out in the first round. So 4 projects only got 100 stitches, which is how many I was putting in for round 1. So I'm going to show those now. I'll start with my whip and then I'll show new starts. So first one I have to show you is the Woodland Sal by Doreen Jones. This is a sal run by Lakeside Needlecraft, and I am stitching it on the fabric that Lakeside Needlecraft created for this sal. And as you can see, I did not stitch along with the sal because the sal is long over. This is the only progress that I have to show, but I think it's coming along fantastically. This was a Mania start. Yep, it was a Mania start from 2020, and I still am not done the first part. These are really dense stitching. There's a lot of confetti, so it can be easy to get lost. You know, when I highlight on my iPad while I'm stitching, and most of the time I'll stitch a length or 2 lengths or maybe even a ton of stitches, and then I'll go back and highlight and I'll count my stitches. With this project, I'm like highlighting every 3 stitches so that I make sure I don't get lost. And then it's got back stitch on top of that. So this is a really dense project. I'm really enjoying it, but it is not like a brainless stitching project. So that did not move forward. So that only got 100 stitches. Too many things in front of me. Okay. Next thing. So now we're into new starts. I don't think I'm going in order of my bracket, am I? I'm not. I'm sorry. Too bad. So next thing I worked on was a new start. This is Spring Hair Etching by Heart and Hand. And I have this huge piece of fabric for this tiny little start. I will cut my fabric when I stitch to the edge. So this is my tiny little start. I loved this, and I was really honestly sad that this didn't go through. This was up against Carrot Forest, and I really thought this was going to beat Carrot Forest for sure, and it didn't. By like a lot, it didn't. I am stitching that on a piece of Color and Cotton 32 count Lugana in aged paper. And that came from the spring 2020 issue of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher. I actually subscribed to that magazine just to get that pattern. But there have been other things I like in it since then. All right, next thing to show you. I was also, honestly, anytime a project got knocked out, pretty much, I was a little bummed. Because I enjoyed stitching on, I have hair stuck to me everywhere. I enjoyed stitching on everything that I stitched on for this. So the next piece I'm going to show you is Gathering Berries by Luminous Fiber Arts. I accidentally had 3 Luminous Fiber Arts projects in March Madness. I did not do that on purpose, but I think it's very funny. So this is the tiny little start I got on that. And I'm stitching this on 40 count birch Newcastle, 40 count Newcastle in birch. And I am stitching that with the called for Belsois in cranberry. So this is silk, and it's luscious. It's amazing. And stitching only 100 stitches and stopping was maybe the hardest thing I've ever done. I just could have kept on going. And finally, we have Blackbird by Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts. This is a freebie that they put out on Instagram, which I think you can still go and get. Maybe? Maybe it was just in their stories. I'm not actually sure if you can go and get this anymore. I am stitching this on a piece of Picture This Plus 16 count Aida in J. So this is the little start I got. And I'm stitching this in Almond M&M's silk in Raven. That's the colorway. And I think that it's very beautiful. It's a little bit hard to tell. I feel like it's only showing up as black. It's not gonna, there, you can kind of see that it goes from like black to gray in the variegation. But it's very subtle, which I appreciate. And again, with the silk, really, really enjoying it. So of those that got knocked out, I think my favorite be either Gathering Berries or Spring Hair Etching. I think maybe Spring Hair might be my favorite of the ones that got knocked out in the first round. All right, so then knockouts from the second round. So I had 4 projects in the second round. These are the 2 that didn't make it through. So I did 250 stitches in the second round. So these 2 projects each got 350 stitches total for March Madness. So this one is Savor Every Stitch by Luminous Fiber Arts. And it's amazing how much of a difference 100 stitches versus 350 stitches is. So that's how far I got. Now, something very amusing about this project is I remember, so this is a Mania start from last year, and I remember stitching this little guy right here. That's a bee, right? That's a bee. I was like, butterfly, no, that's not right. And it calls for, I think, B5200 for those wings, but they don't show up on the white fabric. So I switched the color to something else, and I didn't write it down, which is very un-me. And now I don't remember what color I used. So I either am gonna have to go through and try and match it. I mean, it's all the way on the other side. It's not like it's next to it. So as long as it's close, it'll probably be fine. Or I could rip out the wings and restitch them and then stitch the other ones too to make sure they're the same. But like, I even went back into my Flosstube where I talked about my Mania projects, because I talked a lot about the floss of this one in that Flosstube, because I am doing a mix of the called for fancy floss and the DMC conversion. And I didn't say what I used, so we're gonna have to figure it out. Next thing that lost in the second round. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this did not move on past the second round. This is Raven's Reply, also by Luminous Fiber Arts. This is on a, oh, I didn't say Luminous, Savor Every Stitch was on a 32 count white Lugana. This is on a 40 count that I don't remember what it is, but that's how far I got. So literally all that's left is filling in the orange in the border. So I finished filling in the pumpkins and I started in on the border there. I love this piece, and stitching, honestly, filling in the pumpkin, the like lighter color in the pumpkin, was maybe the most relaxing stitching I've ever done. I really, really enjoyed doing that. So I'm kind of glad this one didn't make it further, because it's so close to a finish. Like, I've got all the motivation I need to pull this back out again. All right. Let me tell you, March is only half over, and I've worked on 16 projects so far in March. That's wild. Okay, so next, the project that got bumped in the third round. So this project got 100, then 250, and then 400 in round 3. So that's 750 stitches. This is Carrot Forest by Owl Forest Embroidery. That's how far I got. So I did this carrot and this carrot and some of the bunnies and, oh, and this carrot up here. And I have a love-hate relationship with this project. I really like it. I feel like I enjoy it when I bring it out, but I'm not excited to bring it out. So it's probably good that it went as far as it did. I think it was the only piece that I wasn't excited to beat out something else. It beat out Spring Hair. Yeah, so I was really kind of sad that this one moved forward. But once I get into the groove of it, I really do like it. And I think it's looking really cool. I just, as I've mentioned before on this channel, if you are a returning viewer, is that I am not a big lover of like hyper variegated stitching because it uses my brain too much. I have to like do too much planning about where I'm gonna go and like the path I'm gonna take with my stitching, and I stress about how the variegation is pooling and does it look okay, and so I think that's what makes me not excited to pull this out all the time. I'm like getting close to the halfway mark though, which feels really good, and I think will be a good motivator for me to keep pulling that out. All right, and my final March Madness project is Light by Barbara Anna, and this was the winner, so this got all the way through to the end. It got 1,750 stitches total, and I think this absolutely deserved to win. This is by far my favorite project of all the ones that I included, and like I knew I was gonna love it, and then I started stitching on it and I was like just completely fell in love. So that's what she looks like, and I am completely thrilled. The fold is right in the middle. Here we go. Totally thrilled. So I am doing Michelle Bendy Stitchy, her sulky conversion. She also did it on the same fabric, and her stitching this is what made me fall in love with it. And sorry, I feel like it's like not showing up on my camera as well as I would want it to. I took a really good picture for Instagram today. But so watching her stitch it is what made me fall in love with this originally. And so I knew that I wanted to do her conversion. So when she was ready to share it, I hopped on this and I kitted it up, and I've just been waiting and waiting and waiting for a good opportunity to start it. So this was what I needed to get this going. The only issue, and I believe Michelle encountered this issue herself as well while she was stitching, is that, I don't know if you can even tell, there in the ear, the white in the ear is actually like a white and a gray, and they are really, really close. They look really different on the spool. Let me see if I can grab them. They look really different on the spool, but they do not look different when stitched right next to each other. So they're charted as 3865 and 5, I think. And that's what they look like in the sulky conversion that Michelle did. And when she was stitching it, I think she was doing a stitch with me, and I remember her saying, wow, I'm not really sure those are showing up as differently as I was expecting. And I was like, well, let me give them a shot. Let me see how they do for me. And I stitched that ear, and I was like, these are not going to work. So I did a little bit of looking on the Sulky website. There is one other color that I think could be a contender for the gray color. It's grayer, but I think it would look really good with the other colors that are there. And it just so happens to also be included in the Sulky thread pack for the Moo the Merrier from Needlework Expo. And I got mine, I think, through Fire Poppies. I did most of my expo stitching or expo shopping through Top Knot Stitcher, but I think I got the thread pack for Moo the Merrier through Fire Poppies. So when that arrives, I'll pull the gray out of it and I'll try it on this piece to see if I think it would be a better light gray than the one that is kitted up already. And I wasn't actually going to get the thread pack. I did purchase Michelle Bendy Stitchy's Moo the Merrier chart. It's called Highland Coo, and I just think it's so cute. So I have that pre-ordered through Top Knot Stitcher, but Michelle used all 12 colors of the Sulky pack, and I didn't really love all of the colors in the pack. I didn't really feel like I needed to have them all, and so I was thinking of maybe just doing a DMC conversion. But I've been really enjoying stitching with Sulky on this project and feeling like I want to increase my stash of Sulky, so this is a good way to just bring in there are like some staples and some fun colors in the pack. And also I can stitch Michelle's piece as called for, and it has the gray I wanted to try, which I could have just ordered from the Sulky website, but it was like, you know, $2 plus for the spool and like $6 for shipping, which just felt bad. So I went ahead and got the pack. So I know that's very comical, but that's how that happened. Okay, those were all my March Madness things to show you. So now I'm going to show you what else I've worked on so far this month. All right, I've reorganized and I'm back to show you the whips that I worked on that were not part of March Madness so far in March. And I have quite a few projects that I try to pull out every month, sometimes on a specific date, and sometimes I have like a stitch count goal that I'm trying to meet. So I think I can say this one out loud because my boyfriend is downstairs cooking dinner. I'm stitching this for him. I think it's going to be a birthday present next year. His birthday is in like a week, or less at this point, which is very weird because celebrating his birthday was like the last normal thing that we did before everything locked down. And so now that we're approaching his birthday again, it's like so weird. But so he is very into chess, so I am stitching him the Peppermint Purple chessboard, Blackwork chessboard. He does not know that I'm doing this, which is very difficult during quarantine where we're, you know, at home together all the time to find time to stitch this without him noticing. So, whoop, my needle is stabbing through my fabric. So the only square that I've stitched since last time is this one right here. I'll show that one to you up close. So I have a goal to stitch 3 squares per month on this, and that will get me through all of the squares will be done by the end of the year. And then that will leave me like 2 months, 2.5 months to finish the border and then hopefully figure out how to FFO it. So I think that'll be enough time. I also gave him a Christmas present that was not FFO'd, so if it comes to that, it'll come to that. So I did not meet my 3 square goal in February because February is a short month, and he just like didn't have as many times where he goes into work like every so often for a little while, and he didn't have as many of those when I also wasn't working and had to be you know, focused on something else. And so I only got 2 squares done in February. So I'm kind of hoping to like catch up and get 4 done this month, but the next couple of squares that are coming up in that top area are really, really dense blackwork stitching. So I'm not feeling super confident that I'll be able to get 4. I think I'll probably be lucky if I get all 3. It's possible that he is gonna have to go out of town for business in April, which neither of us really want to happen for safety reasons. We're both still unvaccinated, although really, really hoping that that will change soon because I just became eligible for the vaccine. So, but if he does end up having to go out of town for business, then I'm gonna just like drop everything else and work on that. Okay, next thing, here, I'll show these a little out of order. Next thing that I have a monthly goal for is my Harry Potter covers collage by Fox and Teacup. And this piece I'm trying to get 1,750 stitches every month with a stretch goal of like 2,000 every month. So here's where I've gotten. Last time I showed this, I got all the way over here and I finished this page. So now I've started in on the page down here. And I have finished my goal for this month, but I didn't go all the way to 2,000. So if I've got like extra time and I finished all my other goals before the end of the month, then I'll bring this back out and try and get it to 2,000. So I'm making good progress. I was kind of hoping that I could get like half a page done per month, but I think that's more like 3,000 stitches a month or more, and so I don't think that's gonna happen. But I'm really happy with how it's looking. This page is just brown. It's just different colors of brown that sometimes I went to Michael's the other day to buy 2 colors of this that I'd run out of. It has been the month of running out of DMC, which I don't love. I put in an order for Fire Poppies that had DMC, and then I ran out of DMC, and then I was making a 1, 2, 3 stitch order, so I ordered some DMC, and then I ran out of more DMC, so I went to Michael's, and now I'm out of another color. And I have a full set of DMC and like a whole, like, you know, floss monster of extras. Amazing. But anyway, I bought 2 colors of this like medium chocolate moussey color at Michael's, and when I put them on the counter to buy them, I was like, oh my gosh, did I grab 2 of the same? And I looked and nope, they're different. They just look so similar. But that, I mean, that's what makes the effect so cool. So this page is all the brown, and it's gonna do like the archway here, and then underneath of that will be like where the night sky gets really beautiful with the pinks and the purples, and then Harry on the broom. But it'll be a while until I get to that, because I think I've decided I'm gonna stitch another row of pages all the way across, so like I probably won't even get to that beautiful pink and purple sky until like next year. So as I struggle to fold this up, I will tell you that what I did during March Madness was every day I would do my March Madness stitching, and then when I was done, which usually was before I was done stitching for the day, I would pull this out, or I would pull out something else that I had a goal that I wanted to work on. And that was a great way for me to get consistent progress on these while still having fun and doing March Madness. All right, next I worked on the Modern Folk Embroidery 2021 Sal. I think it's called Fruits of Plenty is the chart. And I'm doing this on a piece of 40 count platinum in the colors 3750 and 932, which I believe are the called for colors. And I'm just so tangled in this fabric. My goal for this project is to do 2,000 stitches on it a month. I have not met that goal. I also did not, this was the only other goal that I did not meet in February as well. I was about 700 stitches short of that goal in February. Yeah, February really I had a hard time with because it was a short month. And I am now piercing my fabric with my needle. Let's get it together, Beth. So, doing about 2,000 stitches a month should get me about halfway through by the end of the year. And it will get me approximately a page finish every other month. So I should have had a page finish in February, and if I had finished that 700 stitches that I needed to finish in February, I would have, because I just got a page finish, and I still have quite a bit more of my 2,000 goal for this month. This is another one I really like to try and catch up that 700 stitches. It may be like, you know, 350 stitches catch up this month and 350 next month. But I really would like to keep on top of that, you know, 2,000 marker every month. So that's the January block or page section. So I'm probably going to start in on the February block today, which I'm very, very excited about. I love absolutely every second of stitching on this. It's gorgeous and I love it and it's so much fun. And when I see people like Julie from Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World, and she is caught up and her colors are beautiful, and I like when I see her progress, I'm like, oh, maybe I should just drop all of my other goals and stitch just on the Modern Folk Embroidery and stay up to date. I'm not gonna do that, but it makes me want to. All right. So I've talked about specific project goals that I have. I also have goals for every month to stitch on a certain number of stitches per like size category of project. But I covered all of that with my March Madness. I think I might have a little bit more left to go in my like large and huge project category, but like ever so slightly. I'm pretty close on that one. My medium and small goals, I knocked out of the park. But I do have some projects that I don't have specific stitch count goals on, but I bring them out on a specific day every month, just because of like the significance of that day. So I'm going to show you the ones that have come up so far this month. So I stitch on this one on the 6th of the month because that was the day of the attempted Capitol insurrection in, oh my god, was that January? So I stitch on Good Trouble by Whistle Stop Stitcher. So one day of progress is usually like not a ton of visible progress for me, especially because the 6th has just like fallen on weeknights that I don't have a lot of time. So that's what that looks like now, and I'm stitching that on a piece of 32 count, let me just double check, 32 count even weave in It's About Time by Fortnite Fabrics. And this is a fantastic piece of fabric. Love, love, love it. Next thing that I pull out every month is on the 8th of the month, I pull out a Hanukkah project. Because Hanukkah has 8 nights. I think I've said this before, but I was lamenting the fact that, you know, it's fun to pull out a Christmas project on the 25th of the month, but Hanukkah doesn't have an equivalent date like that because Hanukkah doesn't land on a specific date of the year. And Laura from the Pattern Queens was just like, well, what about the 8th? Because it has 8 nights. And I was like, that's so perfect. Yes. So I do that every month, and Crafty Classicist on Flosstube also does that with me, so that's really fun. So I am stitching on this Hanukkah star. This is from, I don't remember the designer off the top of my head. I don't think I have it written down. I do. By Linda Jean Jenkins. And this is in the Just Cross Stitch December 2020 issue. So I worked on this little gray section, which looks like the same color as this, but it's not. It's a darker gray. And I stitched on this little blue section, and then I added the backstitch lettering and backstitched this little, I don't know what that is. It looks like a hollow braid. This is a fun project. It's a really easy stitch because it's just solid color stitching for the most part, with a few little bits to keep me interested with, you know, a color change or some back stitching. And it's got the candles in the middle, so that'll be different too. But that's a good, like, turn your brain off and just stitch back and forth. I will work on that project on every 8th of the month until it's done, and then the next project will 100% be Satsuma Street Peace and Light. I cannot wait to start that project. And finally, this is a new one on my list of things that come out every month. It's not a new start, but it's a new addition to my list of projects that come out. This is 100 Owls by Owl Forest. And I am stitching this on a piece of 40 count dark cobblestone with the called for Owl Forest threads. So this is what I've done so far. I just put in, the sun is going down, and so my lighting is just getting worse and worse as I make this video. But I put in these cute little owls right there, and this little motif right here with these wild colors that I don't know what they're doing. The wild colors are kind of freaking me out a little. Like, this owl is like unicorn, like blue and pink and white. But I think it's gonna be okay if I just stick with it and keep going. But the reason I have started to pull this out every month is because Athena and I of Stitching Goddess Designs started this together in February, maybe January. No, must have been earlier than that. I think it was like November. I think we started together last year. And both of our birthdays are on the 14th of a month. Hers is February, mine is April. And so we thought it would be fun to do a SAL where we stitch on the thing that we started together on the 14th of every month, just for fun. So if you're stitching this project and want to join in, or if your birthday lands on the 14th of a month and you want to join in, feel free to join our hashtag. You can find the hashtag that we're using in one of our Instagrams because I don't remember it off the top of my head. And I haven't been showing my bags this episode, but I thought I'd just show you this one because I love it and it's gorgeous and it's an owl. And this is from my wonderful friend Denise Soden in liquid color. Her shop goes on and off, but I think she does have bags like coming eventually. So if you check back every so often or put her shop on notifications, then you'll see when she puts new bags on the shop. Okay, those were all of my whips that I've worked on, but I do have some more new starts to show you that were not part of March Madness because I was talking to my mom. You're seeing the ADD happen in real time. I was talking to my mom yesterday, and she was like, you know, I have always been told that I'm a woman of extremes. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right for you, Mom. And then she saw in my closet back there is my like huge hanger of all of my over-dyed floss. And she was like, what is that? And so I was showing it to her, and she was like, yeah, I think maybe I gave you that woman of extremes gene. So yes, I don't know when to stop. I have the Jenna Marbles too much gene. And I don't even remember what I was doing. Oh, new starts. Ooh, okay. Let's try and keep it together, Beth. Anyway, I couldn't help myself from doing new starts in addition to March Madness, which is a lot, but I'm gonna show those to you now and also maybe get my brain together a little. So, I mean, I only have 2 new starts that were not part of March Madness. And they both had a purpose because I'm very easily enabled. I also don't think these will be my last new starts of March. I have more plans. So for International Women's Day, I decided I wanted to start a piece featuring a woman that inspires me. And so I pulled out one of my Clouds Factory Women in History pieces. I have already completed Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I have 2 others planned. So this one is going to be Grace Hopper, but right now it's just the border, which is exactly the same as my Ruth Bader Ginsburg one. But eventually this will be Grace Hopper, who, if you are not familiar with her, she was very influential in the field of computer science, which is the field that I work in. And I go to, I've been 3 times to a conference that is named after her, which is like a transformative experience to be in one room in, like, you know, the main like conference hall of thousands and thousands and thousands of women, especially in a field that is male dominated, is like so empowering. Also, Grace Hopper coined the term bug. She found, I think it was a moth in a mainframe computer, and now it's called a bug. So that was a fun little start. Those are not very big, so won't take a lot of time to stitch. And now on the opposite end of the spectrum, something that is not small and will take quite a long time to stitch is the Pandemic 2020 sampler by Sarcy Girl. And this I started because I don't even know who started this hashtag, but there's a hashtag called "It's Been One Hell of a Year, Sal," and a bunch of people decided they were going to start this project in March, because March is when the pandemic hit the United States. And so I had this project in my stash and had been dying to start it from the second I downloaded it, which, by the way, Sarcy Girl gave this pattern to us for free for, you know, just the promise of a donation. To, like, how kind. This pattern is like ridiculous, and she gave it to us for free. So thank you for that. You're amazing. And so this is the start that I did. This was like 2 days of progress, but but I loved every single stitch of this, and I am itching to go back to it. I'm doing the DMC called for, and I am stitching it on a piece of 40 count Newcastle in anthracite. I really loved the look of the model that she did. It's like what drew me to it immediately was this like dark bluish gray fabric with these like beautiful fall, very me colors. But she dyed her own fabric, which I've never done and I'm very scared to do, even though she includes very detailed instructions for how to do it exactly the way that she did it. So if I was ever gonna attempt it, like now would be a very safe and easy time to do it. But I chickened out because I was so excited about the look of this that I was too afraid to mess it up. So I did a bunch searching on Instagram to find people who were stitching on this from like a dyer, something that I didn't have to dye myself, that had a similar look to what was called for, because I couldn't find anything when I was looking. And the pictures online never actually match what you're gonna get, and so I was not feeling optimistic about just picking off the internet. But I saw a couple of people, I think, I don't remember who they were, but stitching on that fabric, and I decided I was gonna give it a try, and when it came, I think it's actually perfect, and I'm loving how that's looking. So I actually think this project is going to join my ever-growing, hopefully not overwhelming pile of, of projects that are gonna come out at least once a month, because this is the Pandemic 2020 sampler. I'm gonna pull this out on the 20th of every month. So it is the 17th of March. So I think I'm gonna pull this back out on the 20th, or maybe I'll wait till next month because this already has 2 days of stitching on it for this month, because we'll get to it in plans. But this is gonna become my 20th of the month piece. Okay, we've now made it through my new starts. That was all of the projects I had to show you that I've worked on for the first couple of weeks of March, and now I'm going to show you some haul, unless my dinner is ready, and then I might have to come back. Let's start with floss clubs, because I am now in 3 different floss clubs. We'll start with my nest egg. This is run by Trisha of 3 Owl Threads. I believe it's closed at the moment, but once it's like easier to get supply again after we've recovered from the pandemic, I think she would probably open it back up. So I get Gentle Arts, and these colors, I may not even go through these with you because it's getting dark and the colors are not showing up correctly. But so these are all the pretties that I got. I'm particularly enamored with Red Grape by Gentle Art, which is not showing up even at all. And Rose Garden, I think I just ordered. Otter Creek is a beautiful like blue and green variegated that actually matches my shirt really well. That one is in Frogwarts Year 1, so I know I have that one already. Rhubarb is a beautiful pink. And Ruby Slipper is a gorgeous, like, burnt reddish orange color. Beautiful. So, love those. I'm never even upset when I get duplicates in those, like things that I already had for other reasons, because they're so stunning and I use them. Gentle Art I think is my favorite of the like big 3 of Gentle Art, Classic Colorworks, and Weeks. I consider those the big 3 just because they're what's like most available in most shops called for in lots of designs. Anyway, I also get the color and cotton fabric of the month. I get the all colors and the primitive naturals. They also have a like a bright colors one that I don't get. And the all colors is like different than, it doesn't have the same colors as either of the other two. So this is actually, I think, the threads from January. I think they're a little bit backed up, but this is what I got. And Old Lace is a really beautiful like cream white. And this is a limited edition color that doesn't have a name, which is a bummer because I'm obsessed with it. Look how beautiful that is. That's showing up pretty okay. Wow, I just love that. And then we've got Nickel, which is a beautiful like purpley gray. And then in my primitive naturals, I got Sandalwood, Sedona. That is like showing up a little weird. There we go. And Prussian Blue. I really like this one too. All right, and then in my third club, I get the NPI club from Fat Quarter Shop, and we get 5 colors of silk in like a match, in sort of like a coordinated colorway every month. So this is the February pack, and it's Strawberry Rose. Last month was Blues. So that's what I got. And here's the numbers that came with them. Those are gorgeous, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with them, but I'm very happy to have them. By the way, these are 5 meters, 8 ply, which I don't think I realized in my last video when I was talking about these, that these are 8 ply, because I think the silk that I get from, that I purchased last month from Almond M&M's is 6 ply. So even though it was, that was like 8 yards, but it's 6 ply, so 5 meters, I don't know. As I said in my Black Needle Society unboxing video, I have an engineering degree, and I'm really good at showing it. So my camera died. Then I took a break and ate dinner, and, you know, started my St. Patrick's Day drinking. I can't drink beer, so I have my fun in pineapple seltzer ways. And then I'll finish my haul here. So I think I just showed you threads when my camera died. So now I'm going to show you fabric. And it's gotten a lot darker in here, so I'm gonna do my best. I don't have anything planned for any of these fabrics. I just got them just cause they're good staple to have. So I got 3 different pieces of 16 count Aida in Picture This Plus blues. This was not really intentional, just kind of accidental. So this one is Icon. This one is Nessie, and I've stitched on Nessie before and really love it. This one is much brighter, but a very similar type of color to Nessie. So Icon, Nessie, and Serene. And Serene is more of like a minty green color, bluish green. And I really enjoy Picture This Plus Aida. So I'm always excited to pick some of that up. Then I got some boring 16 count black. Just good to have some black around. Now that I'm drinking the seltzer, I'm gonna get the bubbles, the bubble burps. Got 2 pieces of 40 count. I got some platinum. That's what I'm stitching modern folk embroidery on, and I love it, so good staple to have. And light mocha. Then I got some 32 count vintage Sahara Belfast. This is also Picture This Bliss. It is a much like peachier yellow color than I was expecting from the picture. So not as much my jam as I thought, but I'm sure it will get used one way or another. And then I also got some more Picture This Plus Ada. I got 16 count Haunted. And I got this with a purpose. I'm gonna use this for Hello from Liz Matthews Quaker Snowflakes. This is what's called for. I originally ordered 32 count, which is I think it was 32 count, which is what the pattern calls for. And 123 Stitch said it was like delayed. It's been delayed for like 3 months. So I eventually canceled that order. And I found it in Ada, and there are no fractionals, no 1/1 in that pattern. So I went ahead and grabbed some Ada. And as I said, really always pleased to stitch on Picture This Plus Ada. So excited about that. Okay, now I have some patterns to show you. From Park Hopper Bart, I got 2 things. He just released La Musique, which I think is fantastic, and I bought it immediately. And then while I was on his Gumroad, I was also looking at what else he has and decided to pick up Shakespeare's Valentine because I think it's really cute. I don't have anything really like that, but I like for like Valentine's Day type things to not be just like generic. So I like that this is a little different and interesting. And finally, I picked up a freebie from Stone Street Stitchworks called I'm Speaking. I'll put a picture here. I went to look for it the other day to send somebody a link, and I can't find it anymore. I think, excuse me, seltzer burps. I think that it was linked from their Instagram stories maybe, and maybe it was only temporarily available. I don't know. I'm glad that I grabbed it when I did, if it's no longer available. But I would say if you like it and you want to try and find it, just message them on Instagram. All right, now I want to talk about StitchAsia. For anyone who may not be familiar, StitchAsia, hashtag StitchAsia, is a sale happening right now in the community, Stitch Along. And a lot of people are stitching on patterns with Asian designs on them. Asia is a very big place, so there are a lot of wide-ranging artistic influences that come from Asia. But all of this stems from the racially charged violence happening against Asian people because of the coronavirus. And it's like so hard for my brain to understand that this is a thing because it's so mind-bogglingly awful. But there are people in this world who have decided that there is a connection between the virus originating in China to like Asian people at large should be held accountable for the fact that the virus exists. What? but it's a very real thing. I don't want to minimize it at all with my aghastness. And so StitchAsia is in an attempt to support the Asian community, to bring awareness to this problem, and to say, hey, we're not going to stand for that type of behavior. So most people are stitching designs with Asian imagery in them. I just like personally, my own personal aesthetic, that doesn't really fit with like the kind of things that I put in my house. But I really wanted to stitch something for StitchAsia to support the Asian community. And to me, what better way to do that than to support an actual Asian designer, a human person who is Asian, to give them my money and to promote their work. So that's what I'm gonna do. Lila's studio is Filipino. And so I went shopping from Lila Studio's shop. So these seasonal patterns I've had my eye on for quite some time. So I decided to go ahead and grab those. So here's summer, autumn, and winter. I think winter might be my favorite. The sleigh is in the pine cones. Oh, I just love it. And then, because y'all know me and I love fall, I grabbed this one. Sorry for the glare, I'm not taking these out of the bags. With the squirrels and the leaves, and I think the leaves are in really beautiful variegated flosses. Let me see. It's all in gentle art. Looks like autumn leaves might be the leaves one. I'm not sure, but they're all gentle art, which is great. So that's what I got from Lila Studio. Next, I purchased from Cottage Garden Samplings because the designer of Cottage Garden Samplings is Malaysian. And let me show you. So this is the one that I got. They have, Jessie Marie Does Stuff also has done multiple from this series. She may be intending to do them all, but there's a series of birds with words that are really beautiful. And they're just really big, and I've never wanted to do a full one. I keep looking at, there's a winter one with pine cones. Again, I'm so drawn to the winter and fall. But it's just, it's really big, and I don't love the bottom of it. And so every time I look at it, I'm like, is there a way to cut out the bottom? But there's not really a good way to keep everything that I like. But this one that I did buy, Peace and Love, again, I like a lot of it, but I don't love all of it. The left part with the house, it's not that I don't love it, it's just that it's really big and I don't feel like I need it. But this piece, I think, will cut in half really fantastically. So I'm going to stitch only the part with the bird and the snowflakes and the poinsettias, which I'm so excited about. So I think this is going to become my new Christmas stitching project for a while. And so I bought all of the flosses except for one. I'm missing Gentle Art Cranberry, I think. And I picked out of my stash 40 count tarnish because I really like the color scheme of the original. I think that's what really drew me to it, was the beautiful red cardinal on the like greenish blue fabric. So that is what the floss toss looks like, and I'm really, really excited about that. So go pick out a pattern to do for StitchAsia and join me and everyone else doing this SAL, because I'm really excited. And yeah, please, let's start a list of Asian designers that we all want to support. Okay, I have a few other haul tidbits. This one's really exciting. I decided to pick up a DMC floss card, the Real Floss edition. So this has the actual floss, not just like a printed picture, which means it's true to the color 100%. I think this is amazing. I've already used it. I mean, I have like 5 or 6 bobbin boxes of DMC, and pulling those all out is annoying. So I think I used this when I was confirming the sulky that I was going to use for light. I was just holding them up against the called for on here rather than having to pull them out of my bobbin box, and that was great. I also use this, I don't remember what for, but I was looking for a floss color. I was just looking for a color to sub in somewhere. And so this was really helpful for that. The one thing that's annoying about this is that it's in like color order and not numerical order. So when you're like, I need a purple for this particular purpose, like it's super helpful to have it in color order because you can just look at all the purples. But if you're like looking for number 712, like the fact that I have to find that 712 is like in the middle of this page here, that's a little challenging. Because this is big. It's like really big. But I think it's awesome. It's definitely worth the money. It is a little bit expensive. It does also have some of the DMC variations, and it has DMC light effects, which is not useful to me except in conversions, actually, because I know like I have some Brooks books that call for light effects, and so I can use this for conversions. It does not have a toile. No, it does not. But anyway, this is super awesome. Oh, it does have, what are you? It does have a numerical list here on the right. Oh, and it says what column it's in. Oh, actually, that's really helpful. I didn't notice that. So here there is a table, and it's really hard for you to see, but all of the white parts is in numerical order, all the DMC numbers. And then in blue is the column over here of where it is on this card. I think. So that's really, really helpful. Yes, that's correct. Yes. Awesome. Anyway, highly recommend. This can be a little challenging to find. It's not in stock all of the time. So when I did see it in stock, I went and grabbed it. And I can't figure out how to fold back up. There we go. So that's that. Next, from Athena, Stitching Goddess Designs, I purchased a t-shirt to go with the Lost in Austin Black Needle Society retreat. This was only available to people who attended the, who bought the box, who attended the event. So that's what it looks like. It's a beautiful rose gold, like metallic, but it's not glittery, it's shiny. And it says, Society of Obstinate Headstrong Girls, Seriously Displeasing People Since 1813. I think it's fantastic. And I love the colors, and I can't wait to wear this. I've been saving it so I could show you before I wore it. I snoozed on getting Athena my size, so I didn't have it actually for the retreat, which is why I haven't worn it yet. And last but not least, in my Stitchy haul, I got this gorgeous, let me take it out of the pack, gorgeous needle minder. I believe this came from Russia or Ukraine. I'm not totally sure, but it came from far away. And it's a snail. And it is a beautiful snail. It's a little heavy, but I love it. For anyone just joining me on this channel, I am very into snails at the moment because we had an event at a Black Needle Society retreat to search for a snail in a particular designer's designs. And it was like, was it Shakespeare's Peddler? And they've got, you know, all these designs with tiny little motifs in them. And so we're like looking at all the tiny little motifs. And we ended up having to go into like a runoff to look for the snail. And then I finally found the snail, and it was a very exciting moment. So now I am kind of collecting snails a little bit. So loving that needle minder. That looks like it's all of my Stitchy haul. I'm going to reorganize for a second, and then I will show you some new pins that I got. So as I mentioned earlier in this video, I collect pins, and so I'm going to show them to you now, the ones that I've gotten since the last video. If this isn't your jam, I've been putting timestamps in my description for jumping ahead to a different section. So if you don't want to look at my pins, no offense to me, I will not be offended. You can just jump ahead to the next thing, which should be planned, I think. Okay, so we'll start with the one I just got like yesterday or today from Electric Pin Company. I got this mirrored pin, and it's R and L and the little heart for Ron and Lavender, with the little heart that she draws on the train window. I just think that's so cute. This was a limited edition pin. Next, from Felix and Fairy Tales. This was a Kickstarter that I supported. This is an Australian shop, and the designer accidentally sent me the wrong pin. I was so excited to open this pin, and when I opened it and it was not the one that I was expecting it to be, I was so crushed. I mean, I ordered these pins, and sometimes they don't come for months because they were a pre-order or a Kickstarter or whatever. So there's a lot of time to like build up anticipation for getting them. And I mean, I never have like a time crunch where I need them by a certain time, but lots of time for anticipation to build up. So I was super bummed when it wasn't the pin that I ordered. But I contacted the shop and she was like, oh, my bad, no problem, I'll fix it. So she sent it the correct one to me for no extra cost to me, which I very much appreciate. And she did it fast. It came from Australia, and she must have fixed it like that day. So this is the pin, and it is the letter that Harry gets from the Weasleys with all of the stamps on it, which is so fantastic. I should have said most of my pins are Harry Potter themed. Not all, but most. And then because she made the mistake and she was apologizing, she added on for me this little bean, which a lot of pin designers I follow are doing beans now as like board fillers. So she sent me this bean add-on with the little stamp on it, which is so cute, and I'm really excited about that. I believe I just supported another Kickstarter from her, like just the other day. She's fantastic. Next, from Whimsy and Zest, we have, technically it's a ferret, and we have We Fly, of course, And then, not Harry Potter related, but also from Whimsy and Zest, we have I'm freaking cold. Because I am, at all times, freaking cold. Unless I'm boiling. Unless it's the summer in Missouri where the humidity is at 100,000%, then you can guarantee I'm freaking cold. And if I'm inside somewhere in Missouri in the summer, I'm most definitely freaking cold because everywhere blasts the air conditioning so much. I just found out that this pin designer is also gluten-free. I'm gluten-free. And she gave me the fabulous idea to make Oreo milkshakes with the new gluten-free Oreos. So I just bought all the stuff to do that, and I'm very excited. All right, next, I'm super excited about what I got from this shop. This is Witherwings Wizarding Wares. It's really hard to say. Witherwings Wizarding Wares. And they are a shop that is like classically a little bit hard to buy from just because their stuff is really popular and goes really fast, and they usually do a very limited run of things. Their pins are also very expensive. So I was really excited that I was able to snag these, and she's doing a series, and I have already ordered one more from the series. She's releasing them individually, so I've already gotten one. But this pin is just so cool and so clever, and I don't have anything else like this. This is the brain tank from the Department of Mysteries. Yes, yes. And while I was buying that, I also grabbed from her a cursed necklace. And I have another cursed necklace, so I almost didn't buy this one, but I'm looking at the other one right now. And it is flat, and the jewels on it are essentially like painted on, but these are like 3D and like clearly set in here. They're very like blue, green, purple, opal-y. So beautiful. Next, from Harry Potter Pin Haul, we have this Flourish and Blots set. This is a piece of official merch, which I try to not buy anymore, but this was limited edition and you can't buy it anymore. I bought it secondhand from somebody who didn't want it anymore. And it comes in this really cool box that I probably will display on my shelf because of my too much gene. And these are the pins that come in the collection. This one's a little hard to see with the lights. It's a little hard to see in person, but it says the Travel Trilogy, Gilderoy Lockhart. So then we've got Undesirable #1. We have the Monster Book of Monsters. We have Life and Lies of Albus Dumbledore. We have Advanced Potion Making. We have the Marauder's Map. We have Tom Riddle's Diary. We have Most Potent Potions. That's, I believe, where they get the Polyjuice Potion from. And then we get the Tales of Beetle the Bard. So this was not inexpensive, and I paid to ship it from the UK, but you know, brings me joy. Okay, now we have a couple of non-Harry Potter pins. As I mentioned, I really love owls. I think I mentioned. I really, really love owls. And so I saw this wood carved barn owl and I fell in love with it. It's so cute and little. very excited about that one. And then here's the snail obsession coming back. This pin cracks me up so much. Ugh. I just relate to this snail so much. I love it. Oh man. Okay, those were all my... Thanks for sticking with me so far. So I've mentioned a few things here and there. Let's just wrap it all up here. For the rest of the month, I mentioned I have at least 2 more squares of that blackwork design. I have like a bunch of stitching to do on modern folk embroidery for the month. I want to start the Peace and Light Cottage Garden Samplings. I'm going to start that on the 25th for StitchAsia. What else? I finished March Madness. I think I have a little bit left in one of my size categories to go. I think in the large category, but like that's less than a day of stitching probably. I also may be starting something with Laura Landis from the Pattern Queens. She wants to start a spring piece on March 20th, which is the first day of spring. And I really don't have much spring stuff in my stash. Never mind, kit it up. Because spring, you may not be able to tell right now because I'm wearing some makeup, but spring is the season where the outside is mean to my face. I have really, really bad seasonal allergies, particularly where I live in St. Louis. And so I just don't like the spring, even though my birthday's in the spring. That's really sad. But I have a couple of things that I could start. I showed the Lila Studio spring piece. So I could start this, but I don't have it kitted up. And I don't know if I have enough time to order the threads. I don't have an LNS here, so I can't just like go and pick stuff up. But I may have a few of the called fors, like enough to make a start. Let me go through my stash and see what sort of fabric I have that might work for this. Maybe can I use that like peachy yellow fabric that I wasn't super excited about? Maybe. If I do this run, by the way, I'm going to probably remove the Easter eggs because I don't really celebrate. I do kind of celebrate Easter because my boyfriend is Catholic, but like I don't celebrate Easter. I go to mass with him on Easter. So I may like put in, I may just leave them off. I may like put in a little snail or something. I don't know. Who knows? So this is a possibility for a spring start. I also have ink circles after the roses. That's totally kitted up. I just kitted that up a few weeks ago. And now that it's kitted up, I'm like, I want to start it. I've had it for a year now and I would really like to get that started. And Laura is stitching a rose themed piece. So maybe that would be fun to start. But I like that this one is also StitchAsia and is like very blatantly spring. So I don't know. Give me your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think. I think that's it for my plans finally. I'm gonna get to the end of March and have stitched on like 20 pieces. That's too much. That's too many. I need to tone it down. Tone down my too much gene. Oh gosh, I keep looking around feeling like I'm forgetting something. It's been an ADD brain day. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I have had a lot of fun in this video, and I am now gonna go edit this. I'm trying out some new editing software, so it might take me a couple of days to get it figured out, but we'll see how it goes. And if this video looks a little bit different than some of my previous videos, that's why. And if it looks exactly the same, you'll know that I epically failed, gave up, and went back to my old software. All right, this video has been long enough. Thanks, y'all. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. I've never done that before. Why did I do that? I need to go to bed. Good night, guys.